Right, yo, what's up YouTube? Back with a video. This is a different video, probably, right? I've never done a video like this, but we're doing a video like this, right? The background is not really set up to do videos like this. This is the third camera that I have, yeah? But it's basically connected to the computer. So if I look this way, this is where the screen is, right? So I can check that everything's going okay, right? So I made a, you know, a little bit of piece of paper. I put a little bit of notes on it because obviously this is the intro, yeah, the intro, right? So we put a prismatic evolution poster up literally like 2 minutes ago for the video. Everyone opens these packs to try and get the cards, right? And then, you know, we got this McDonald's one because McDonald's Pokemon packs came out like the other day. If you don't know, you go to McDonald's, you've probably seen it everywhere already. Everyone who watches the videos, Pokemon is got a collaboration again with McDonald's. So you can go out there and buy some McDonald's packs. Right. So I wanted to get into like a question that someone made on eBay, and I wanted to like do an in-depth video about it, right? But the reason why I made notes is because I basically wanted to say, obviously, the reason why, like, the concept of money, yeah? The concept of money, like, this is the concept of money, right? If you're in the UK, this is £10. Oh, you got £10, guys. You can go spend £10. Right, so you go take your £10, right? And you go buy, before we like wreck everything, because I'm using the printer as storage, which is hilarious. Even my friend said, like, what? You're using that storage? Like, yeah, bro, sick. Yeah? So, anyway, right, let's say you go buy this Lucario, right? This Lucario was originally like £2. Do I think that these will be worth more than £2? Well, now they're like £10. So where does the value go? Does the value go to £50? You know, when stuff goes out of print, you know, if one guy buys 50 copies, then obviously with it's £10. Yeah, it's £10. He goes and spends his money on these. You know, there's going to be less of them available, right? So therefore, the price is going to go up. So it's basically just like a stock, right? So I wanted to get into a little thing like around eBay because, you know, Marley P, yeah, I think that's his name. So Marley and P obviously asked a question about the national insurance numbers I'm adding to eBay, and he says that he's selling unwanted cards and games that he's bought from years ago. Right, so let's say, for example, the reason why, you know, I'll get into it, but I'm going to get into something else because, like, the money system, right? So the money system. So these are paper notes, right? And the government does not like you having any of these, right? The government is designed in a way to keep the public poor, or why they control the movement and the printing of money through the central bank, right? So we decided, the public decided, that we are going to let a specific type of other guy, right? So let's say me, I hand the power over to you and I say, right, you print the money. Okay, you print the money, I'll give the public the money, and then we'll claim money back off them, and we'll keep this Ponzi scheme scam going on for like 500 years. And what we're going to do is we're going to make, when we print more of these, we're going to make the price of everything go up, right? So let's say this card sometimes, right? So I'm going to give you the concept of this, right? So let's say this is a special illustration rate. You can go out and buy this. This is at £8 today, right? Now, the deflationary value is this card will stop being printed, but this will be printed continuously, right? Because the governments will constantly increase the debt, raising prices. That's why we're in this market where Pokemon's became, I would say, the new stock market. But the stock market right now is doing very well. You know, especially if you're, you know, into nuclear energy, like just dropping free knowledge right here. But anyway, this card, if you go buy this with this, the next year it might cost more of this to buy this same item, right? So this is inflation. Inflation means that they raise the price, the price of the money devalues. So let's say in a case scenario, the price of this devalues, right? And then you will need more of this to buy this, right? So how does this tie in all to the video and all the game, right? Because my argument is, and I do not believe in, what's the way in saying it? I don't believe in, it's not, you're not cheating, but you're like, You're just avoiding doing something. If that makes sense, right? So they print these pretty pieces of paper with pictures on, £10, £5, right? They print these pretty pictures, and then they give them. The public believe in trading these pieces of paper or promissory notes for, you know, with trading with them with other people, when realistically some guys printing them and they're getting worth less and less and less. So one argument I've got, right, is you use this money to buy this, right, and then the government takes a bit of this money off you in VAT, right, to buy the same item, right? So, but the money, before you even got the money, so you've got no money right now, before you've even got the money and you've used your energy and your time to get the money, you know, you've now spent some of the money, and they already took some of that, so they already took a piece of this, right? And then you take this and you buy this with it, and then they take more again, and then, okay, you decide to then sell this, and then you get money, and then they feel like that they want money off you again. Now, in my eyes in this, I don't agree with it because it's a scam. Yeah, I don't agree with it. Do I agree with the system? No. Right? You know, that's probably just my horsey nature, yeah? My horsey nature. Because the horses are the rebels of the system. If people like us didn't exist, right, like Nelson Mandela, you know, there wouldn't be change within the world, yeah? So if you're, shout out to you if you're a horse. You know, I was watching the Stargenomics live stream. I asked him what date he was born, and I said, and he's like, wow, that's really weird, you know that? And I was like, look, I can look at you and be able to tell, like, sometimes when the year you're born, just by the characteristics of your face and the way you look. For anyone who does not believe that this is like a virtual reality, trust me, yeah? He was surprised that I guessed exactly his date he was born. Right, so anyway, just why I got that out of the way, we're going to go into eBay national insurance. Right, so eBay asks you for your national insurance. You go, oh my god, shit. You're asking me for my national insurance. Now, what's the reason you're panicking, right? What's the reason you're panicking? There's no reason to panic, because you have a thing called capital gains, right? Capital gains. So everyone has a personal allowance of capital gains of £6,000. Right, so if you're selling your personal belongings, like let's say this tin, right? You sell this tin, you bought some Pokemon cards, right? You get 2 booster packs in this tin. Let's say you sell this empty tin, you know, and you sell it for £5, but you spend £20 on it. You haven't made any money, right? So the best thing to do is, if you're doing like any buying and selling, is document as much as possible, right? In case you go over the limit. Right, so let's say you're wildfire selling all of a sudden, and you decide to sell 10 Lucarios that you bought at £2. Well, you might have bought them 5 years ago, yeah? So something that you own for, like, I would say like 4, even 5 years, like, that's a personal item. If you buy something, if you buy this Pokemon Elite Trainer box, and you buy this, let's say today, at say £50, and then you say sell this tomorrow at £80, well, you had no intention of keeping the item or doing anything with that item, so you decided to basically sell this at a profit, right? So that is how a business operates. A business operates by buying hundreds of these and then sells them the next day for, if not double the money, or, you know, they make profit on them, right? So that's operating as a business, right? So let's say you just got your old phone, you got your old new iPhone, you get an upgrade, and you go, yes, bro, what you saying? I'm selling my phone. You know, do you know anyone want to buy my old phone? Right, so you go on eBay, you sell your old phone, right? You go get a camera, you sell your old camera. You might be a gamer, you might like Call of Duty, you might like Modern Warfare 2. You might like, I don't know, you might like any Gears of War game, right? Let's say, for example, your own games, you go to Game Station or CEX, and you're like, yo, I want to sell my games. You know, you don't want to sell it to them because they're giving you a price of like $2, and you're like £2. Like, well, I'm going to sell this game for £2. There's only for £20 on the internet. So you go on the internet, you sell it, and don't forget you have packaging, right? You have packaging. You have to pay for packaging, and you also have to pay for shipping. So let's say you sell £7,000 worth of items within 1 year. Well, you do realise that you had to fucking post them, yeah, and you had to ship them. So even if government comes along and goes, you know, changes their matrix agents and says, oh, because, you know, the government is a corporation, right? And the corporations can only interact with dead people, yeah? Corporations. As in your, like, you know, birth certificate and all this, it's all a nonsense fictional game, right? It's, they send, right, like, imagine they send you letters and you believe, oh my God, let me write to them, let me answer them, let me do this and let me do that, right? And this is like the scam of the system, right? Because, you know, okay, you can be, but they're all corporations and everyone plays along with this game. Like, okay, so now you can say, right, okay, let's say you've got to pay them money, right? Let's say you've been operating as a business and you've been selling and you made like £10,000 in profit, and you know you've got to owe them, you've got to pay them, say, £2,000, right? So then set up the agreement that, yo, listen, I'm not paying you unless Keir Starmer is not in power, right? That's my agreement, yeah. Lay down some terms and conditions. You can do that. You know, there's also a thing where they commit crime with your money, like by bombing other countries. You know, you can be against this one. You can be against this one as well. And then you say, all right, you know, you can say, oh well, I'm not paying you because you're bombing other countries and you're committing crime with my money, right? Unless you can prove where you're spending the money, then I won't give you the money on set reasons, blah, blah, blah. Right, so you can do that if you want as well. But anyway, let's just say, you know, you're a Randy Bob and you're just selling random stuff on eBay that you don't want, right? Don't let this bother you, because £6,000 in capital gains, you know, you're selling your old phone, you sold your iPhone, you know, iPhones are like £1,000. You know, I don't even see the point in spending £1,000 on an iPhone, but, you know, you get this phone and you sell it, right? Have we even got audio? I'm just going to check. No? Are you fucking trolling? The fuck is this? Right, yo. Let's make sure we got audio. Stream. Audio. Microphone. Right, it says the microphone is working. Ah, yeah, we got audio. Ah, it's alright then. That's alright then, yeah. You sell your phone on YouTube, you know, you sell your phone on eBay, you get £700 for it. Well, look, you paid £1,000 for it. So, somewhere or another, you might have a bank detailing of where you paid on a bank card, credit card, of how much you paid for that phone. So, if you sold that phone for £700, you didn't make any money on it, right? Because obviously you paid a higher price. So, let's say you're into Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, you sell your Xbox, PlayStation, GameCube, you know, your Xbox S, whatever, right? You might be deciding to sell it to upgrade to get the newest console that comes out, right? Same system applies. You know, you buy this, right? You sell the old one. You know, you're upgrading, right? Now, let's say you sell £5,000 in that year, and it's all personal items, and then right. So I get into something because, you know, how long are we in the video? We're in 12 minutes in, right? So there's probably nobody here in the video, right? There's probably like 0.1% of my viewers, which is probably like 2 people are watching this far in the video, right? So let's just get into something. Let's say you buy a shitload of Pokemon, right? Your intention is to make money on it, but you don't want to sell it all in one go, right? Never sell everything in one go. Let's say you buy 100 slabs, yeah? And you've got 100 slabs, you know, and let's say, okay, let's say you've made your money back from your grading costs, you know, your shipping fees, you've sent your cards off to America, you know, you paid the shipping, you paid the import, you know, you get the import back, you got to argue it was your own item, takes a process and that. So, you know, you send your stuff over there, you get your stuff back, you sell a couple of cards, you pay your money back, you got your receipts, you got deduction, right, got this to pay, right. So let's say you take 60% of that submission and you park it and you put it aside, right? Now, you could say, well, these are not items that I was basically intending to sell, yeah? These are collection pieces, yeah? Because that's what you're basically grading cards for, right? Most people like grade cards to collect, but most people grade cards to sell and make money. So these guys that basically, let's say you get a bunch of cards, right, like this. Let's just say you get a bunch of these. These are all full of cards, right? You get these and you slab all these, right? So let's just say there's probably like 50 items here, right? So let's just give them a quick count and see how many there is, minus the top loaders. Can't grade in top loaders, by the way. You know, particularly trying to scam everybody, saying, oh, if you give us a fucking top loader, I'll charge you £1. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. Right, so I grabbed a random stack. There's 41 cards right here. So let's say you grade all these. Right? So you need to sell X amount before you even get your shipping costs back, yeah? So let's say you get shit grade, you get an 8, a 9, you're like, fuck, I'm only going to break even on them and get my money back, right? So then you need to keep a record of the card that you cost, yeah? So let's say you bought a booster box for £150, right? £150. If you go and get a card from that box, right, and then grade it, like let's say a Roaring Moon from Paradox Rift, right? That card worth right now is like £40. Say you get a 10, that's 200 quid, or you get a 9, which is like 140, right? So let's say, I'm running numbers here. The 9's not 140, but let's just say you sell the 9 at 140, right? You get your booster box receipt, right? You get your booster box receipt, say like this, right? And then you write down on it, or like this, right? You get your receipt, and then you write down on it. You go, oh well, sold this card, and this card cost this price, right? So and then you get you know 10%, 20%, or 30% of your money back, right? So what you can then do is you will then have to sell another item to then get your shipping costs back. So let's say you paid £17 to ship to PSA. You know, PSA charge you probably like $50 sometimes, depending on the weight of the cards, to send the cards back to you. So then let's say you have to then pay £70 total shipping costs. And then obviously if you sell a card for say £100, well then you have to ship it special delivery, and then you have to get your money back. So in all that process, you've made 3-4 sales, but you might only have just broke even because you got some shit grades, or you might have paid £10 for a card, got a 9, and you can only get your money back for it, right? So as long as you keep a record of how much you spent, you should realistically have no problem. Now, let me give you the ultimatum, right? Because the ultimatum is basically, if you have a block of slabs, and you get a block of slabs, and 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 another block of slabs, and you basically keep them, yeah? So let's say, imagine you've got 3,000 slabs, and you keep them, right? So every year, you have a personal VAT allowance of £6,000. So you are now, let's say you've kept all these slabs for say 3-4 years, and you know your intention was to sell them, yeah? There is no evidence that you bought them with the intent to sell, yeah? And then there's no evidence that you bought them for a personal collection. They cannot say to you that you did not buy them for a personal collection. You say, well, look, I wanted to get every single card in that set as a grade 10, right? So you get every single card as grade 10, and you know you do everything, and then you know you get like 10 duplicates. Well, yeah, I had to grade 10 copies because you know I could have got 10 9s and got 1 10. So you know, best case scenario, I don't know what the, so you play it this way, right? So then what you can do is you can basically do that, and then every year you can sell, so let's say £3,000 of cards. You sell 3,000. I don't know. Let's say you sell 3 slabs, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Get 3,000. Okay, sell some little common cards that you brought out, some packs, some booster boxes or whatever. You know, sell some old games. Right now you've made say 5,000, and eBay asks for NI insurance. Like, yeah, who gives a fuck? You're not made anything, yeah? You could say, well, I've not made anything. I've sold personal cards from my personal collection. Okay, next year comes round. You know, your personal tax allowance refreshers. Okay, you know, you can say, all right, well, I'll sell the bike now. I'll sell the bike. Let's say the Saron you've got. Okay, I'll sell the Saron. You know, that maxes your capital gains or whatever. You know, you make, let's say you make profit on the bike. Well, yeah, let's say you make profit on the bike. You make like £5,000 profit on the bike, let's say, for example. So now you don't want to sell anything else, because selling something else would make that you mean you go over the capital gains and then not paid like 20%. So, for example, if you're going to sell anything, and you have the ability to think, yo, I'm going to be running as a business, or I'm going to make too much profit where, you know, I might need to pay the 20%, is what I would advise you do is get the 20%, yeah, that you would make off every item. So work out the 20%. So let's say you sell a card at, say, £100 to make it easy, right? The shipping is £10. That brings you down to £70. Right. The VAT of 20% of £70 because you know that's profit after deduction because obviously shipping costs, you know, bubble mailers and stuff and posting and grading fee. So let's say you know you sold the card at £100. The grading fee was £20. That brings you down to £80. £10 to ship the card. That brings you down to £70. So there would be £14 would be the VAT on that item, right? So then take that £14 or £15, just round it up to £15, and then move that money to a different account. Yeah. So go and open a different bank with a different individual. Basically, take the money from that and then put it in another account, right? And then what you want to do is now you've got £50 to either buy a slab, you know, buy some booster packs, or put towards getting another item that you may want to spend your money on, right? Now, if you're cashing out to spend the money completely, you know, and you're going to buy one thing, then obviously leave that other money in another account and don't touch it. Be financially disciplined where you can put that money there and not look at it, and because you might need that in case, you know, they try and say that you're running as a business or whatever. So if you wanted to basically say, shush money, or shut the fuck up, have this, boom, done. Yeah? Problem solved. Right? So, in the concept of this, right, so let's say, as well, this is another scenario, right? What much time are we now? We're on like 20 minutes. Fucking madness, right? So you then sell that card, right? So let's say you sell another card and you get another £200 off the other card, right? Do the same thing again. Deduct the shipping, deduct the grading fee. How much would the profit would be off that item? Yeah. So that item would, let's say, would you make like, I don't know, after shipping, special delivery, and then grading fees, so let's say 30 quid. That's 117, so 170. So then you take like £34. Round up to 35 or even round up to 40, take that money and put it in another account, leave it there, and that is you know, your aka VAT, right? But that was your 20%. This is what I mean about this like system. This system obviously is designed to keep you poor, where you know your money that you receive is, you know, has a deduction on it, and then you know you buy something with it and it gets a deduction on it, and then you sell it and they want another deduction on it. Obviously, if you're making 100% profit, like let's say you buy this card like for £2 and then you sell it for 20, and then you know they want say 20%, it's like, well, realistically it's like 20, so like they want £4, but then let's say you make 18, it's like, or even 14, is it really much of a bigger deal? I know that everyone wants to keep their money in that, but do you know, like if you do it the smart way, you will never really have to ever give them anything if you know what you're doing, right? And the reason why like these people become businesses and they become, you know, like business, real businesses are not businesses till they've turned over like 80,000. Like for you to be able to make a full term wage like per month, so let's say, you know, with the wages rising, it becomes really even more difficult to do each time as time goes on. Because let's say like when you're grading cards and there was only £8, right? You would have been able to sell, like, let's say you were selling them rapid, 30 quid a card, 30 quid, right? You know, you're making, you know, after shipping, you're making probably £15 a card. All right, grading fee doubles. Then you're like, oh shit. Then it becomes harder to become like that business if you want to become that business, right? Because then, you know, booster packs that come in old, you know, you got to sell them to cheaper. You know, whoever's going to buy them off you wants to buy them. They're not going to buy them at market price, so then, you know, you have to sell them, buying and selling. So if you want to become like, I personally think like to be somebody who buys and sells is like, it's kind of, I think you're going to see the maximum gain if you like just buy and then hold and then work and then buy and hold and then sell later. Like, I really do think you're going to outpace most of these people that are just like buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. It's like trying to buy a stock, and then you buy a stock, and then it's like, this is like a mad video. I don't even know how I'm gonna fucking upload this video. I'm just gonna probably put like, I don't know, troll vid, skit, like, you know, are you scared? Like, what? How would I even title this video? Like, are you scared of this? Or, this is mad, isn't it? Because even J-pop, even we'll get into another thing. J-Pop was asking me as well. He said the same thing, like, yo, if I'm selling loads of PSA cards, how will I go about this? And I'm like, look, really, if you just put the money aside and you know you're paying £1,000 each time you're doing the grading fee with PSA, and it's like, what really are you? Just say, well, I'm a PSA 10 collector. I basically collect PSA 10s. I sell all the 9s. I get all my money back, and I collect the 10s. And if I don't make my money back on the 9s, or you know whatever, then that's basically the way it is, isn't it? Right? So you know, thanks for watching the video, guys. I'm gonna cut it off because you know I think that's basically everything covered. But if you want me to do a video like this again or whatever, come back, do you know, type a comment, like the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.